Hey everybody, I'm Josh.
And I'm Rachel.
And welcome to our backyard.
That's right.
We are just celebrating our 4th year here on YouTube.
Crazy.
With a question answer submitted by you, the viewer. And we've got a couple dogs with us, so hopefully they allow us to do well here. We want to start off with one special question.
That's right. From Pete in LA, his question is, why no opening sequence on your recent YouTube videos? I missed the cheese pull, also known as Patinla, because when we did a very first live stream, I couldn't pronounce it.
Yes.
So, Pete in LA.
It's because it's not a real name.
It's true.
Yeah. There's that dog thing. So I listened to too many podcasts about how to optimize your YouTube channel, and they basically say don't do intros, so that's why it's been gone. But for this video,
let's go.
Here we go.
Alright, thanks Pete for that question, because I've missed it too. Alright, first we're going to start off with some general travel and personal questions, but
before that, so this is actually one of our favorite, more local beers.
More local.
Yeah, it's a Denver Denver beer company, Princess Yum Yum. Rachel turned me on to it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's been my favorite for quite some time. It's a raspberry kolsch, and we can find it in the can here at home.
Alright, so we are starting with general travel and personal questions. This one came to us from Raymond Rodriguez, Jamie Lavery, and Inbits. If I may ask, how did you two meet? You complimented each other well, and Josh, why don't you like mushrooms? So the very easy question is mushrooms.
Yeah.
I hate the texture of them. You can put, as long as, if it were like finely chopped or blended, I'm okay. I am fine with the flavor. I just can't stand the texture. But more importantly, how did we meet?
We met at work.
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually both worked at the same hospital for a number of years. I became friends with coworkers of Rachel's, and so then we saw each other at a barbecue and then started hanging out that way.
Yeah. Zach, David Sanchez, and Mr. Rogers TX, and then also Tiffany Baker, Dino, Iowa 1216, and Pursuing Joy all asked about the similar question, asking where do you live, what state do you live in, and do you have jobs other than YouTube? So we live in Wyoming.
Yes, and we both are nurses by training. I've been a nurse for 19 years.
I've been a nurse for 13 years, but in healthcare for 20 years.
Yeah, and we both do administrative work at this point.
Yep.
Dan asked, how do you find the time to travel so often? I'm especially wondering about this if you guys also do work outside of YouTube, which we just answered that one.
Yep.
Also from Nan, I'd love to know how much vacation time you both get from work. So we both have pretty flexible hours, but also not. I mean, we work in the office the majority of our time.
Yeah, our normal schedule is about 7:30 to 4 Monday through Friday. The nice part is we are flexible and we maximize our weekends and state holidays.
Yeah.
So that is I would say that's probably our biggest way. We do kind of budget our time off for a good 3 weeks a year, just to kind of maximize those potential longer trips. But most of our stuff you will see is done on weekends.
Yeah, and so what we do with that is we'll even work a full day, and then we'll go to the airport and fly to some destination between like 8 p.m. and midnight, and then we'll start the next day. So like we would work a full Thursday, go, and that way we have a 3-day weekend. But and then we'll also, oh, we forgot the cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. We also fly home really late.
Yep.
And so we might get home at 2 o'clock in the morning and then go to work the next day.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have rest days or prep days.
Mm-mm. We sure don't. Scott Martin asks, Josh and Rachel, congratulations on 4 years. Wow, we've just started watching you earlier this year and love the content. Thanks, Scott. It's funny to me, and I was actually thinking about this before we started it, is doing these Q&As is very interesting because we seem to answer similar questions, but I also forget that many times people are new to our channel. So thanks for joining us. For one, thanks for all of you who've been with us for the full 4 years, and thanks for all of you who are just joining.
So as Rachel is saying that stuff, I heard a sound. And you can probably see right now that Frank is digging in our flower bed. Luckily it's mid-September, so we're kind of done watering and stuff at this point. Hey Frank! Frank!
All right, so I'll go back to his question. We're from New Zealand and heading to the USA for a 5-week road trip from San Francisco to New Orleans via Salt Lake City. Racing at Bonneville Speed Week. Oh, how fun. Any don't miss stops on the way.
So this is tough because we don't necessarily know the route that you're going from San Francisco to New Orleans. But thinking about that, so Utah has a ton of national parks. I would probably try to make it to 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, restaurant-wise, I just did a trip to Park City, Utah, which isn't far from Salt Lake, and it was a place called Tupelo Park City, and it was amazing food. So one of the ones we can help you with is New Orleans. We have visited now 3 times? I think 3 times.
I think it's 2 times.
2 times.
But they were decent trips.
Yeah.
Long trips. We've got a couple videos out for that. Definitely, if you're going down there, the food is the definite thing that you got to go for. Creole food, look for that. Get some oysters, get some...
Beignets.
Beignets for sure.
You got to do the beignets.
Get a po' boy.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's kind of hard to tell which direction you're going because U.S. there's a lot of different ways. And, you know, if you're driving through, like, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, I don't know a lot of must stops, and I'll probably get hate for that.
Yeah.
But have fun along the way. If you want to let us know more about your stops, just hit us up on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll be happy to share what we know from our travels.
Anthony Logano says, my question is, who picks where to travel to? Is it mutual or Josh picks a trip and then Rachel picks the next one? It's pretty mutual.
I would say it's mutual. Mm-hmm.
We both know what our travel goals are, and we try to gear towards that.
So one of my travel goals is to hit all 50 states in the U.S. And with that piece is to run a running race in one of those states. So 5K to up to marathon. And I am 12 states away. After this fall, it'll be 9 states away. So that's where my focus will be next year, especially kind of looking for our weekend travels, is which state can we hit either 1 or 2 states on a quick weekend getaway.
And that works pretty good with my travel goals because I want to go to all 50 states, all 7 continents, and 100 countries. And so for me, it's just, I want to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So as long as it's new places, I'm good to go.
As a couple, we have a map downstairs where you can do selfies or pictures in it, and we're trying to fill that too. So we're going to be pretty close. I think with a few of the states we're traveling to, I've already ran in, but we're going to be hitting up those for our travel map and then for my running map as well. So it's kind of fun to see those pieces on there.
And you might hear thunder behind us. We're
trying to be a rainstorm.
Yeah, we're trying to get this done before it rains on us. If not, we'll go inside.
Yeah. The next question comes from Cash Mopar and Rachel K, asking, do you have kids or want kids? I have 2 adult children. One is going to be 24 real soon, and the other one will be 29 in a few months. So I don't have any need for any other children.
And I don't have any kids of my own, and we are both in our 40s at this point.
Yep.
So we know that is probably not the brightest idea. However, we do have 2 dogs. We have Gemma, who is a rescue dog. She is part lab, part boxer.
She's about 9 now.
Yeah, and then we have Frank, which was our new addition to the family this summer, which we just got him in June. Yeah. And he is the one that was digging in the garden already during this video.
He's a charcoal lab, and if you haven't had a puppy in your house for years, like we have, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, it had been over 15 years since I had a puppy, and this is like so much more work than I ever thought.
It's a lot of work since I remember it as well.
Up next, there's a bunch of questions about if we're going to go to places, so I'm going to kind of hit through those. This came from Jeff Van Slotten, John Trin, Linda Lilly, and Inbits, asking if we're going to go to Napa Valley, Savannah, Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina, and the UK. The hope is all of it.
Yes.
We want to travel everywhere. Now, 2 of them are actually on a bucket list, and one of them we have a trip plan maybe close.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure. So Napa Valley has been on my bucket list for a long time. During COVID, we actually had a scheduled trip there and had to cancel.
I think we might have canceled 2 trips there, actually.
And then Savannah, Georgia, I've been there before, and I told Josh, we really need to go back. It's not a top priority for us because we've been to Georgia as a couple, and I've ran there. I actually ran in Savannah, but it is a beautiful city with lots of food and lots of history.
We are hoping to go to Myrtle Beach next spring, so hopefully that's close to Greenville. Not totally sure. Yeah. We're going to try to hit up South Carolina and North Carolina during that time. And then the UK it's actually before we did the Europe cruise last year, our plan for Europe was going to be to go to London and Paris and do that as a combined trip.
Yep.
It's a bucket list trip for Rachel, and so
100%.
we will 100% make it there. It's just a matter of when. We don't have enough time is our problem.
Yeah. Oh, and the next question is from Nikki. We missed it too, is asking about visiting Memphis in the future. Again, we love Nashville. We have not been to Memphis, but why not? We can put it on the list. All right, the next question is from Laurel Hansen. What strengths do you each bring to your social media venture? I think we should answer this about each other, because
I agree.
I think Josh actually brings some very good organization. He brings the dedication to go and further research, look at other pieces. What are we doing that we need to improve on? As he mentioned earlier about the intro, I would never know that. I would not have time to look into that stuff. He knows all of the analytics behind the channel, and so that to me is one of the biggest strengths.
And I like to think of us almost like sports commentators. So I'm the play-by-play guy, which is basically the guy who's just giving you all the information. It might be boring, it might sound dry, and then you've got color commentator here who gets to come in and like have the fun, and I think it's good because it brings more personality. Like if it was just me, it'd be boring and dry.
And I can tell you, my information may not be true, but I think it is, and I can say it with confidence usually.
Does. Yeah. We do our best to be confident no matter what.
Yep.
Next question is from Ted Fisher. Have you ever considered a summer home purchase in your favorite travel location? No. Because we haven't found our favorite travel location.
I think that's the easy answer to that, is we don't know where our favorite travel location is yet.
Yeah. We like to travel so much, and we have so many places we want to go still, that it's really hard for us to think about settling down and spending the amount of money that you would actually have to spend to have a travel home or a vacation home. So we just haven't.
Yeah, we even recently just did a stay in a treehouse, had so much fun, and talked about how exciting that would be to have one of our own. And then the numbers guy started putting numbers to it, and it just doesn't make sense. It's really hard for us.
Yeah, you have to buy land. You have to find a land that has plumbing, electricity, and all this stuff. Yeah, so I don't think at this point in time we are looking at that.
Yeah. The next question is from Wall Street to Vegas. Thanks, Casey, for submitting. Would you ever move to another state permanently? If so, which one and why? Well, I'll tell you, there's no plans in the moment in the works, but if we ever move to another state, they have to have no state income tax, because we currently live in a state with no state income tax, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, we've gotten too used to it that it's hard for us to imagine moving to a place where we suddenly have to pay an extra 3 to 10% based on that. There's only a limited number of states in the U.S. that don't have a state income tax, and so the ones that are probably most likely for us would be somewhere like around Nashville, because Tennessee doesn't have a state income tax, Washington, because we really enjoyed Seattle and loved the weather there.
Yeah.
We would not move north, so that's why we don't want to move to like South Dakota or New Hampshire, because we have enough snow here. We don't need more.
Yeah.
And then Florida, I think, is too hot. Texas is probably too hot as well. But there you go. Nashville area or like Seattle, Tacoma maybe, but we're not looking to move.
It's the same as kind of having a vacation home. We keep traveling, and since Wyoming is home, it's just worked so well that we have a place to call home, and neither one of us really want to get out of it right now.
Raymond Rodriguez asks, most rewarding vacations or destinations? All of them.
I think so too. I think that's a hard question to answer. It's like asking what our favorite spot has been. I can give you my favorite this month. I mean, like it's
favorite
really
at the moment,
hard.
But we just love traveling, and that's why you see us go to so many different places. We returned back to Las Vegas because it's close, it's easy.
It's easy access.
The flight is very easy. We get to do things that we enjoy there, but also get our rooms paid for.
We pay for them in advance.
Yeah, we pay for them through gambling, but we consider those to be things that we're going to do anyway. But that's why we don't do a lot of repeat trips, because we feel like we get something out of every trip that we do.
Yeah, and I would say for me the most rewarding piece of travel has been, I really picked up my travel about 13 years ago, and going alone to places is really hard. you can still do it, but it's so much more fun and it's so much more enjoyable when you get to travel with someone you enjoy spending time with. So for me, it's been anywhere we've been in the last 5 years. We've just had so much fun, and we don't make mountains out of molehills for sure, and we just kind of roll with the punches even in some very trying circumstances we've had.
Agreed.
Cars and Cabinets asks, what's the best place you have ever been to?
Again, it's hard. I think
it is hard.
I think each trip is something you make of it.
One of the ones that stands out in my mind, we did a cruise out of Barbados, and we did the very southern Caribbean islands that don't get visited very often, and I'll tell you what, I rewatched some of those videos just recently, and man, it was fun. That was a great cruise.
I think that was definitely one of my favorites. But then as far as like places in the US, we went to New York City on our very first trip together. Loved it. Want to go back. Still haven't made it back. Rome was the first city in Europe that I ever went to. We got to redo that.
It was so fun.
In last October. Loved it. Yeah, I just love traveling.
Yeah.
All right, next up is from Malakajo and Marky Mark 25. Basically talking about places that are overhyped or underhyped.
Miami.
Yes. Yeah, we have not been big fans of Miami, and so we end up flying in like at 11 p.m. and then cruise out by
the next morning.
10 a.m. Yeah, like we're like 12 hours in a hotel or less. Like it's just not what really sets us off.
Yeah, we had a good time. We did 24 hours in Miami on our first cruise there, and had a really good time and ate some good food. But I think it's just a little bit overhyped for what you get. Now, underhyped, I would say Seattle. I love Seattle, and I don't think it gets as much recognition as it should.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people don't look at it as like a repeatable destination, but for us it totally would be. We love the seafood, we love the weather, we love coffee.
Yeah.
The scenery is beautiful. That was a great one for us.
Yeah, and as far as experiences that didn't remotely live up to the hype, we did an experience in the Bahamas with swimming with pigs. It was not worth it.
And that was through Royal Caribbean, and so I think maybe that's part of the reason why it's more of, it felt like a petting zoo to us.
Yeah.
If we could go to the Bahamas and get to Exuma, where they have naturally running pigs out on the beach and stuff, heck yeah, I bet that would be great. But this just wasn't it. Texabilly Beer BQ.
Okay.
Do you guys typically fly a specific airline, and which class? So we fly United or Southwest because we each have the credit card, and they both have big hubs in Denver. So they're easy for us to fly out of. We fly economy. We have flown first class like once, and it was just because it was a random upgrade from having the United credit card to like North Dakota.
Yeah, I was like, I think it was from either, was it Bismarck home?
Yeah. So we will, that's one of our,
engaged.
Yeah, that's one of our big ways of saving. We don't do the expensive seats. We don't do lay down seats. When we went to Europe, every time was in coach or economy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we did get lucky.
Tight against people.
I would say we got lucky that first one.
Not all of them.
Yeah,
no.
The first one, because we had a row of 4 seats and it was just Josh and I.
Right.
But yeah.
But you're playing you're risking it.
You are.
And we did.
Marky Mark asks, what do you do with leftovers? And then a separate question of, what do you do with your dogs on vacation? So, as much as it might be surprising, we don't have many leftovers.
No, we have very few leftovers. We have an idea of how much we can eat, and we have an idea of how much we're going to eat. And so we go into each meal knowing what's going to be. We have an idea at the beginning of the day, and what we've done is we cut back to 2 meals a day, which has helped us a ton.
Yeah.
Especially in Las Vegas, because we're always over ordering there. Whereas when we go to other cities, we might just get like 1 or 2 dishes, and so it's a little bit easier that way.
Yes, we can try more.
Yeah, but we limit ourselves to 2 meals a day. We know we're gonna be very full, but we do try. If
we have a fridge in one of our rooms, we will take leftovers if we have it and eat it the next day, or if we're traveling home, we might snack on it. Josh has actually been to a conference in Texas and brought home barbecue all the way from Texas, and we reheated it when we got home.
Yeah, so. Terry Black's Barbecue in Dallas brought home like 1.5 beef ribs so we could have it. Security will look at your clamshell of food, But when they knew what it was, they understood it. It's expensive and it's worth it.
Yeah. The next one from Marky Mark was, what do we do with our dogs? We have the best dog sitter in the world. They go to a kennel, and Stacy loves them like her own, and we can't ask for a better dog sitter.
Yeah. Canadian Slack couple asks, funniest thing you've seen during all your travels. So we did come up with a couple for this.
And we're not terrible human beings, but sometimes it just ends up being funny.
So, hey.
Quit, you two.
Come on. So the first was like, it was actually our first vlogging trip. We were in a pool with this other couple. We didn't know them, but we had met, and they were drinking and partying pretty hard. And we had a day bed next to the pool at the Mirage. We get out and we can see that the lady she's drinking a bit too much, and it's very sugary
and she's
drinks.
Drinking fast, yeah.
Yeah, and she ends up throwing up in the pool. And we learned that day that if you throw up in the pool, you can actually, her and her husband actually just guided it into this filter, and nobody else knew.
Yeah.
Like, we were just sitting out the side watching, and it was like amazing.
Yeah, it was. And then, we have laughed about that for 4 years.
And then she got
now.
wheelchaired out later.
Yeah. The other one, during the safety briefing, what happens if you fall out of your kayak, on how to get back in. And I'm thinking, nobody's ever going to need to know this. Well, sure enough, someone fell out of their kayak.
Well, we also thought that this lady was going to get in the motorboat and not on the kayak.
Yeah.
She was not well prepared to be kayaking, and of course she toppled very quickly.
And she was very safe as well, but it was one of those funny things you're like, oh, it can actually happen.
Yeah, but both of those were pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then our final one for this section is pursuing joy. Do you prefer land vacations or cruises?
We don't care.
Bring them on.
Yeah,
we are happy with pretty much all kinds of travel.
Yep.
All right, we had to move inside because the wind picked up, actually, not the rain.
Yeah.
But our next section is on cruising. So this comes from Claire Parker, who is thinking about booking a cruise to Alaska, and she's wondering if we have been to Portland before.
And we haven't been to Portland, but we have been to Eugene, Oregon. We really enjoyed it. The scenery there, we did some hiking, we got to go see some sand dunes, we actually went to the beach, and they did have breweries and wineries there as well.
Yeah, and if you want to see our trip there, sorry, Frank is eating the garbage at this point. He loves mail.
He loves mail and paper.
Yeah, so we let him tear it up. And if you'd like to see more from that trip, it was actually our third year Q&A.
The next question comes from John Trin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall any cruise videos from other cruise lines other than Royal Caribbean. Have you considered any other lines such as Carnival or MSC? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. As I'm curious, is it loyalty program or just personal preference?
So we've given a lot of thought to others, but in all reality, when we did our first cruise, we were really researching Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Virgin, and Carnival. And at that time, we felt like Royal fit us the best. And then once we started doing it, we started getting comp offers for cruises from their casino program. And so after a certain point, we were like, well, we could get our loyalty up. So we kept working Royal Caribbean until we got to Diamond status, which allows you to get some free drinks, some discounts. And so now we have matched to Celebrity.
Yeah, and we have both cruised other cruise lines before us cruising together. I've been on Carnival before. It's nothing wrong with it. We just have picked Royal for right now.
And I had done Princess before, and I thought I liked the itineraries a lot, but it did not seem quite as exciting as what we can get with Royal. This next question is from Sarah Baird. We are off on a cruise soon, Rome to Venice. In Venice, we are staying at Hotel Bucentoro, where you stayed. Can you recommend any restaurants in that area, as they all looked wonderful? Food is a big part of our trips. Plan to watch your YouTubes for Rome and Venice again this weekend.
Oh man, I loved Venice. And I thought that hotel location ended up being perfect because it was right on the water. If you go over the bridge, when you come out of the hotel, I don't know my directions, I would say go left over the bridge.
When you come straight out of the door, turn left, there's a bridge.
Yep, and you go over there, and it's a pretty well established food area.
Yeah.
A lot of different restaurants over there, but it wasn't ever crazy busy.
Yeah, you're far enough away from the true tourist area that it was all good. The prices were great. As far as if you're looking for a fancier restaurant that you maybe want to make a reservation for, Baccarandino was the restaurant that we ended up having a very nice meal. Highly recommend it. We did the whole fish and then multiple pasta dishes. It was great.
Okay, Jamie Lavery asks, which of you guys started the love for cruising?
I think it was me.
Yeah, it's Josh.
So we had both cruised before we met. I had cruised, I think, 4 times. Twice on Royal, twice on Princess.
And I had done 3. And it had been years ago, though. 2 on Carnival and 1 on Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, and we just thought, like, as we were starting our relationship, it seemed like it'd be a fun way to do some traveling. And I like it because it allows me to get to many countries in one trip. It's like a moving hotel that just takes me along. Yeah,
and I've really learned to enjoy that part of it. I think, again, as I mentioned earlier, it really helps when you enjoy traveling with someone or the travel partner you're taking with.
Gordon Vegas asks, what cruises are on the horizon? So we do have Wonder of the Seas coming up this fall. So that's going to be a Eastern Caribbean cruise. We have Celebrity, which is going to be our first time on Celebrity.
Yep.
And that actually goes to the next question, which was from Las Vegas Live, who says, we seem perfect for a Celebrity cruise, and why haven't we done it? It's because we are working the loyalty program, making sure that we got up to diamond status with Royal Caribbean so that we could tier match over. It does get us some free perks when we're on Celebrity.
Yeah.
And so with Celebrity, we're going to be hitting up Panama, Colombia, and the ABC Islands. And then I think our next one after that is going to be New England.
Yeah, we have a New England cruise book next fall.
So I'll be back with Royal Caribbean.
Pursuing Joy asks, so many cruise videos are tips and tricks. What are some of yours that aren't on all the lists? I would say for me personally, plan ahead. Don't be afraid to plan ahead.
We actually check, like, I have the window open all the time, or the tab open for Royal Caribbean, and so I'll always be checking for a better price on a lot of the things that we want to do. Yeah. I know that that's probably, it should be a common tip. I don't hear it all the time.
No.
But I think that it's probably the most important thing for us is just watching your prices, understanding which discounts are your typical ones that you're aiming for.
Yep. I think,
anything else?
Yeah, another tip, and it's silly, but it's one of my favorite tips because no one reminds you that when you're staying in a cruise room, that they're pretty tight quarters, so the poopery really does help. It's a good tip to have. In addition, I say, and I don't know, it's probably the same for men as well, bring your own shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah. Yeah, they have stuff, but like, and they don't have lotion either.
Yeah.
So you can buy those stuff on the cruise ships, but you should, anything that you use in your daily habits, you should probably bring with you.
Yep.
All right, next section is Las Vegas. So this comes from Rick DHH. Any chance in the future you guys can do a Sadelle's lunch? Because we've done breakfast before there. Sadelle's is one of our favorites. We usually go 5 times during our stay. Thanks again for all your videos and hard work. So if we were to do Sadelle's, it'd probably end up be where you can eat out in the conservatory. Just because we try to do different places as much as possible. Now we have started to do some repeats, but it's not super frequent, so there's maybe a chance, but if we did, it would probably be in the conservatory.
Yep, I agree with that. The next question comes from George Dixon. Aria has the best restaurant lineup in Vegas. True or extremely true? I would have to say extremely true.
Partially true.
Josh says partially true.
So I would say that Aria is definitely in the top 5, definitely top 5, maybe top 3. And I think the other ones that we would start thinking about is probably Cosmo and Venetian.
Those have really great restaurants.
Yeah, we've never stayed at Venetian, but they have a ton of restaurants. They have a ton of great restaurants. I think one thing about Aria that I almost forgot about was because we did so many Aria restaurants when we first started this channel because they were some of the ones that we really wanted to do the most.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to start to do some repeats again, and I'm sure we'll hit back up to Aria, so I think it will be. I think
Aria is one of the best places. I don't think you can go wrong from many aspects of Aria.
Yeah, and they do have like a wide variety of things at differing price points. You know, they could all probably use more mid-tier places, but like adding in the food hall I think was a great thing for Aria. They also have.
They're home to one of my favorite brunches, Catch.
Yeah.
And favorite margaritas, Javier's. And favorite quick bites, Din Tai Fung. Quick casual bites, I would say with that.
They have a bit of everything.
They have a bit of everything.
That's actually what you're looking for, I think, in resorts and stuff. So I don't know. George, you could probably talk me into it. All right, Hunting Vegas asks, out of all the casinos you've stayed at, what is your favorite and why?
Win.
We agree on that. Yeah, Wynn is just, everything hits right for us. From the casino floor to the room to the amenities. The restaurants are very good. We could probably use a more mid-tier.
I agree. And more quick bites there too.
Yeah. But it's so nice.
Yeah. It's just become one of our favorites. It's never overly busy. The service on the floor. And if you're a morning gambler, the coffee comes in real coffee cups.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
And I think the bed's the best.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially after this last trip, the bed is the best.
Yes. John Stewart asks, what restaurants have you done a video on that are overrated and not worth the value?
Casa Playa.
That was probably one of our first truly negative videos. Yeah, thinking back on it, it was probably even worse than what we thought it was.
Yeah.
Now, it's the Mexican restaurant that is inside of Encore, and it's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
But like, her chicken was so overdone, and then when we notified the waiter of it, he just said, yeah, they've been having issues with it, took it, never told us what they were doing. And then we had burrito tacos.
The more we've eaten burrito, those weren't burrito tacos.
It had like the longest string of meat, like not chopped up or anything. It just, none of it hit. And now maybe things have changed because we ate there a couple years ago, but we don't really want to go back.
Yeah.
The other one I think you could say is probably some of the Gordon Ramsay stuff. And it's not necessarily that it's disappointing the food, because we've had good meals there.
Yeah, we've had good meals.
But the problem I have is that a lot of them are just very similar.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the menu at Ramsay's Kitchen versus Hell's Kitchen versus Gordon Ramsay's Steak, they're all almost the same. Or you could end up with the same meal pretty much at all of them. And what's even weirder is the prices are different.
Yes. They're not even close to the same. And that's the weird part for me. On that same line, and I'm a huge Guy Fieri fan, I would say the Guy Fieri restaurants have been a miss. And we've done 2 of them now in Vegas, and they've just been a miss for us.
Yeah, they just don't work for us. I know some people enjoy them, but it hasn't been our favorites.
At 2CatDad asks, what's a Vegas experience, be it a restaurant, show, event, that you liked so much you want to go back to or find yourself repeating on most of your trips? We find ourselves at Din Tai Fung almost every trip. I would think this is one of the benefits that we have in doing the YouTube channel. It's really forced us, and not in a bad way, to expand our horizons and try something new every single time we go. We rarely repeat things. Repeatable things for us, I would say, are sports events. T-Mobile Arena and concerts. They have been so much fun. And
we have really tried to almost force pool days lately. Because we enjoy pool days. And for a long time when we were building the YouTube channel, like, we were just missing out.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to do so many other things that we could capture, and now it's like, no, we are going to set this, we're going to set this afternoon aside, and we're just going to go to the pool for 4 hours.
Yeah, and then it helps us go back to its vacation and not work. So
yes.
It's a lot of fun that way.
Alex Croft 3249 asks, what is your favorite restaurant in Las Vegas? Let's just start right there.
I'm going to have to go with Nevada Brew Works. It's my favorite.
Mine's Yellowtail.
I like that.
It's Appalachio. I don't think that gets the hype. If you want to talk about a place that's underhyped, I think that is. And what I really like about it is it's like small plates, Japanese food. Prices are not great, but the view is amazing.
Yeah,
and the food is delicious.
I chose my answer simply because if we were to be living in Vegas, where would I want to go to on a, if not weekly basis, at least monthly? And I would put Nevada Brew Works on my list, at least monthly.
I agree with that. And then Alex also asks, how often do you go to Vegas? So we've gone to Vegas a lot.
Yeah.
Back in 2020 was our first trip to Vegas together. Now, both of us had been there many times before, but we went 4 times in 2020, 7 times in 2021, 7 times in 2022, 6 times in 2023, and we will end up in Vegas 6 times in 2024.
Yes. So we visit frequently. It is looking like 2025. I say this now, and I said it last year.
We always say this.
So it's probably not going to be true, but it's going to be more closer to quarterly, so 4 times a year. We'll see. If we can get a quick weekend trip for a good price, we'll be in Vegas.
Be there. And then what restaurant are you looking forward to trying? Honestly, we simply book and go to the restaurants that we want. So like our last trip, Bazaar Mar was one of the ones that we really wanted to go to. And so we just booked it.
Yeah.
Soul Belly Barbecue was a place we really wanted to go to, so we booked it. So we don't wait, we just go.
Yeah. The one we have not done yet, and I think it's probably going to be on the list sooner than later, is E by Jose Andres. That's one of ours that we have not done yet.
Yeah, sometimes we struggle like Guy Savoy or Guy Savoy at Caesars and like anything where you're talking $250 plus per person. We do kind of struggle on that, but hopefully we'll have both of those in the near future. We'll see.
Yeah. Alex also asked, is there a restaurant we've gone to the most? I would say Javier's, but it's not always for food. Sometimes we'll just stop in there for a quick snack and margaritas.
Yeah,
Javier's is probably the one we've been to the most.
Yeah, and we don't record everything. And so like sometimes we might just, we discovered that in the back of the bar, so like straight past that
huge bar.
Straight past the giant bar with the ropes, there is a section behind there with TVs that you can actually just go back there and sit. And so we've done that a few times where we just go there, grab a margarita or two. Now, they're probably the most expensive margaritas.
Yeah, it's still going to cost you $100 if you each get 2 margaritas.
But they're so good.
Yeah, it's so worth it.
Next up, Belinda Seitz says, what steakhouse would you go to if you had your choice of MGM properties? My husband has so many comp dollars. Which one would you do?
Prime at Bellagio.
I would too. And I've said to some people recently on social media where for me, I want a steak and I want a view, like for a special meal and stuff. And so Prime hits that.
It does.
I think that the steaks are on par with your John George at Aria, with Bavette's at Park MGM. I think those are the best ones in the MGM profile. And so if the meal is already the same, I want to be on the patio and I want to be watching the Bellagio fountains.
And that's what I was going to say.
And that's what that can bring.
Yeah, because we had done Prime before on our very first trip together. We'd done Prime and we didn't get a patio view. And when we did that patio view it's been within the last year, we've done the Prime patio view. It changes the experience. So I would hands down say, ask, wait, sit out on the patio. It's worth the wait.
Yeah, and I do want to add that. Like, I think for us, when we go to some of these restaurants, we expect the food to be great.
Yeah.
That's an expectation. So the experience that you have is what sets something over the top and makes it a meal of the year, the best restaurant, favorite restaurant. And Prime really just knocked it out of the park for us. And it provides the opportunity for an over-the-top experience, whereas the others, they're nice, beautiful rooms, but this one can just do it better.
Yep. All right, the next one is a very fun question from Rain King. You only have $100 for both of you. Where do you eat? And this includes the tip.
Which is tough for us if you've watched.
Yeah.
So he doesn't say whether it needs to be lunch or dinner.
No.
But either way, I think I'm going the same way. If we're on the Strip, I want lobster meat.
And I'm going with Soul Belly Barbecue.
We just had Soul Belly Barbecue and it was great.
And we were able to do it for very close to $100.
Yeah, well, it all depends if you're adding beers in or not. And
it depends if you order like us. You could have easily ordered half of what we did.
Yeah, I'll admit,
leftovers.
We would not order the same if we weren't making the videos.
Yeah.
Usually we wouldn't. We just think that it's hard for people to want to watch a video where all you do is eat like one sandwich and a French fry. Mm-hmm. So we over order and we overeat. So I think we could do it.
I think we could too.
Yeah.
Supercar GTS. Who is the biggest casino fan and how did you both get into it? Well, I'm a casino fan because of Josh.
And I think she's the biggest casino fan now.
And that's because we don't gamble outside of Vegas or cruising. So we don't, and we have local casinos and we don't go to them.
Yeah, we do not go to them. Like I say, you can't go there because what's the point? If you can't earn comps, then don't go lose your money in a slot machine. So yeah, I definitely have been
You gamble
I'll
with
say
a bigger bankroll.
Yeah, there was probably some addiction going on there for a while, maybe still. but I have enough control to not do it at home. And so I don't always crave it as much. Plus if we're going to Vegas every other month and we have a cruise 3 times a year, we have plenty of opportunities to gamble. Whereas like this one, she'll watch the slot channels a lot. She craves it.
I do. But I want to watch the new games. I try to kind of learn the slots that I want to play and see which ones seem more fun to play.
Yeah.
I do watch one in particular all the time.
All right. We are far enough in. It's beer number 2. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, wait.
Time for a quick break.
Should we do that together?
Or
cheers.
Cheers. It wasn't a break. We had to break for new beers.
Yeah. All right. So this one goes into YouTube tips, and
that's a really cool glass.
That is a cool glass.
I got a new glass when I was in Chicago last week.
Yeah, we were actually supposed to be in Chicago filming this along with other stuff this weekend, but we had to cancel it.
We had to
got the kids we got to take care of.
Yeah, we had to focus.
Yeah, so this one goes into YouTube tips. If you are not interested in creating a YouTube channel or knowing the background of it, I'll put some chapters down below and you can skip to the next one.
Jesse asks, if you don't mind going into the nitty-gritty, best tips for starting to edit vlogging videos. How y'all store and edit so much content, quickest ways to edit, all that fun stuff. It intimidates the heck out of me, but I'm going to start soon.
So I'll take this one.
Yep. And I'm going to hand this over to Josh.
So I do the editing for us, and it starts off, I was into video games before we did this channel, and so I built our computer, and I built it with editing in mind, so it is like way too much overkill. And so the computer is a beast, and so it goes fast, luckily. I use a program that probably nobody else uses. I don't know why I found it, but Movavi is the program that I use. And we have just, I don't know how many terabytes of storage, so.
But we also have some external storage too, right?
Yeah, we have some external storage, but I also have room for many internal storage. I just built a giant computer that I could probably use for the next few years. And we do pay extra for iCloud and extra storage on our phones. We get big enough stuff that we can put everything on it and then come home, unload everything, and then go again.
If current you could give new to you YouTubing any advice, well, that was a confusing question for me to read. What would be the most helpful to past you, and what would you have done different?
All right, so this is gonna go deep, but I did give quite a bit of thought to this, so get your notepad out.
All right, first one is going to be, what's your goal?
So I think this is, the important thing is you have to ask yourself, what are you looking to do? Are you thinking that you're going to be a 15 million subscriber channel like Ryan Trahan, or are you going to be okay with hitting 10,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers? You need to ask yourself that, because if somebody already isn't at that size in the area that you're looking to do, why are you going to be that person?
The smaller you are, the smaller your scope should be. Niche down.
So niche down is something that you will get very tired of hearing if you start listening to podcasts about YouTube and stuff. But the key is, when you're brand new to YouTube, you want to be found, right? And so the easiest way to be found is to have 5, 10, 15 videos in the same category so that YouTube knows where to send your videos. Nobody's going to watch them if YouTube can't provide your videos to the people. We
attempted at first to include slots in our videos. We can't keep up. If you're watching any of those slot videos, we aren't doing $100 a hand or $100 a pull by any means, and definitely not being consistent with that. So we probably should have strayed away from that in the very beginning, but it also helped get us to where we are today.
Yeah, we found that a lot of our videos were getting shown to people that were watching just strictly slot channels.
Yeah.
And that wasn't who we were trying to target. So we actually had to pull back videos, and we just stopped doing them for the most part. So it helped us.
The next tip we have is, don't worry about your equipment.
Yeah, we've actually gone from using our phones to using a better camera, getting a microphone. Now we are back to using our phones more.
Yeah.
And we got a new microphone which plugs into our phones.
So much easier.
But the thing is, you don't have to worry about that in the beginning, because in the beginning you're just learning how to be on camera. And so don't worry, don't get caught up in having the perfect setup before you get there.
Yeah. Next, we also encourage you to be purposeful.
Yeah, so with this, my thought is like tell a story that's easy to follow. Having just a random day a lot of times is not going to be something that drives people to your channel. So you'll see that when we do videos, especially like non-Las Vegas videos, you know, we gear them towards this is what you can do in a weekend. This is what you can do in 24 hours in a different city. Even in Las Vegas, we don't do multiple restaurants because we don't know how to package them for the audience.
Yeah, it's one restaurant at a time for our videos.
Right. And then the other thing is, if you can say things in less time, you probably should. Especially now with TikTok, like people are 60 seconds or less. I saw a poll the other day that said that like the younger generation actually gets anxiety from anything beyond like a minute and a half right now. And so you have to be able to constantly engage, but you don't have to be screaming all the time like Mr. Beast does or constant in and out kind of stuff. But you also shouldn't just have dead space.
Next tip is packaging matters.
So with this, I didn't want to believe this, but title and thumbnail matter way more than you want it to be. Finding a way to provoke some kind of curiosity in the viewer while also not being clickbaity is difficult because that's the big thing that everyone hates. I don't want to be clickbaity. But you still need to have people click on your videos. If people don't click on that thumbnail, it doesn't matter. It could be the best video in the world and nobody's gonna watch it. That's why you see the crazy O face and whatnot.
Next is be consistent if possible.
Yeah, so this one is tough.
And I think consistency means a lot of different things. You don't necessarily have to put out the same exact content, but be consistent. When we first started, and I think it's one of the best things that helped grow our channel, we consistently put out videos every Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think it was Sunday and Wednesday. Sometimes change it to Saturday. But anyhow, we put out consistent videos all the time. Now, did that stress us out a little bit about a year and a half in? Sure did. The part about being consistent to me is being able to put those videos out on a consistent basis. Knowing when your videos are getting watched, having that time to dedicate to that, but not making it so stressful that it ruins the fun of doing the videos.
Right. And that's for over 3 years, we were consistently doing 2 videos a week. And we would almost force ourselves to go do things so that we could do those videos.
We forced ourselves to 3 meals a day to do that.
We did. And we did that until we could hit 100 restaurants because we wanted to be able to say we've done 100 restaurants. But the consistency, I think it also goes back to like most of the time if you're doing 1 video a week for 8 weeks, you're gonna do a little bit better than if you do 8 videos in 8 days and then do nothing for 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's where we think that like try to spread out your videos, stay relevant. That's the big thing there. And then the other thing about consistency is keep getting better.
Yeah,
do your best to keep improving. We were just talking earlier about how the big difference, if you were to watch our cruise videos, our first video, it was us, we call it a talking head video. We sat on a couch for 10 minutes straight and I just put some clips over the top that I took. And I was like, hopefully this works. And then a year later, after we had watched more cruise videos, we learned just walk and talk.
Yeah.
Hold that camera out and talk to each other. And then, you know, another year later, we bought microphones so that we can actually be a long distance apart from each other and you can still hear us at the same time.
Yeah.
So always be striving to improve.
Editing will take longer than you expect.
Yeah, so with this, we've done a really good job of finding efficiencies. With the restaurant videos, we have a very structured format.
Yeah, ask anybody who's eaten dinner with us.
Right, right. And you'll see that, like, we're recording the first 1 to 2 minutes of eating our plate, and then we're going to the next one. And there's an intro, there's a mid area, and then there's an outro. It's a very steady, consistent thing, and it helps me on the back end.
Yep.
So I can edit it faster than we need to. You know, we don't have to add in a lot of extra details. We don't have to do voiceovers.
And the other thing we don't do, because we are still traveling and doing fun things, we don't edit on our trips.
No, I think that's a key. Yeah, editing, I think it definitely would take away, and so we don't do it.
Yeah. Read your comments and consider all of them. People make comments and they're not always bad. For example, we had a comment about we used to not talk about the drinks we ordered because we didn't think it was relevant, and someone asked us multiple times, why don't you say something about the drinks? You're right. We're paying $25 for those drinks, or up to $25 for those drinks. We should say something, and now we've gotten better at doing that. And I think being willing to change and grow and foster that is so much more helpful. There can be haters out there, and some of them are rude. You just have to take that with a grain of salt. I mean, that's life in general. But some people offer really good constructive feedback, and you're like, oh, yeah, we could do that. We should look at that piece of it. So I say, and I read them too. I'm sure Josh gets to some of them faster than me, but at least, and if there's a really good one, we both save it for the next person.
Yeah, but I would even argue, like, the negative comments, you should read those. And I've seen some larger YouTube people that they don't read their comments, or they have moderators take down anything negative. But I take those to heart, because you know what? It came from something. Yeah. And for a person to actually leave a comment, 1, they watched it. 2, they thought about it. 3, they actually made sure they were logged in and did it.
Interacting.
Like, there's purpose behind that. And it's usually not just because they're awful jerks.
Yeah.
You know, there's something that probably I could do something better about. Yeah. And so we read them and we adjust to them.
Another piece is to find other creators. I would say this has probably been one of the biggest things for our channel, is having those people to bounce ideas off of, talk to about. It's surprising how many people have similar thoughts to you when you thought you were all alone in this world. Like, it is really cool.
Yeah, and this will lead into the final one, but like having somebody that you can fall back on and say, like, what did I do wrong? Like, is there something about this thumbnail that looks good or bad, or should we do this even? You know, I think that's a huge benefit, and sometimes you're going to go through rough patches.
Yeah.
We had a horrible run between last August and December, and this is in 2023. Like, we had like some of our lowest numbers ever for views, for revenue, for all of it. And in my brain, I was like, I don't know, maybe we just do Las Vegas stuff. But then we did our Rome video, and boom. Yeah. Like, we took off. And so, like, having somebody, though, to be able to talk to about, like, the frustrations and hard things going, you gotta have it.
Yeah.
It really means a lot.
The next tip we have for you is evergreen content.
So this goes into one of James and Paul's question, which was the biggest driver for audience growth. And so evergreen content is going to be stuff that you're not just watching this week or next week, but it's stuff that people might watch 6 months down the road to 6 years down the road. And that's where, I know I watched Endless Adventure. They're a travel channel that we've watched for a long time. They're at like 600,000 subs. So they're a big channel. And they had talked about in one of their Q&As, the big key for them was when they made a food guide or they made a city guide. And that's actually one of the biggest things for us, is that once we put out our Athens, or actually going back a year and a half, our first Nashville video, our Washington DC video, New Orleans, Athens, and then when Athens, Venice, Rome, and Barcelona came out, like, everything just took off.
Yeah. And
it was very slow. Don't get me wrong, it was extremely slow. Anytime we do non-Las Vegas videos, we are always seeing that it's ranked 10 out of 10, but it's okay.
Yeah. Because
they very much take off slow, and then they will surpass our Vegas videos within a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they continue to grow, whereas the Las Vegas videos get stagnant.
I will say too, we plan our trips out quite a ways in advance. Right now we have a December trip for Vegas, and we're kind of starting to talk about restaurants now. If we anticipate, or we've heard rumor that a restaurant will close, we won't do it.
True.
Prime example too is not even just the restaurant, but that Cosmopolitan MGM merger, we weren't sure how long that was going to take. So we kind of stopped doing any restaurants at Cosmopolitan until we've now, for sure, that's been transitioned over. And now you'll start seeing some more Cosmopolitan restaurants for us. But that's a prime example, is if you know something's going to close, maybe as much as you might want to try it. I can't remember what the restaurant was, but
So we've had a couple, like Rayo's was closing within a month. Picasso was closing.
We had Picasso booked for June.
We had both of them booked.
Yeah.
I think those were probably the two main ones.
And we had to, we just pivoted and found something else because it doesn't help us. As much as we wanted to try it, it wouldn't have helped our channel.
And that's why you don't see a Mirage video from us or a Tropicana video from us. out of sight, out of mind, and so we didn't do them.
Yep. The last one, and Josh and I can both vouch for this, burnout is real. Again, that's when I said about doing it and making sure it's not work, it's more fun. The minute this becomes work, we don't want to do it.
Yeah, like around our 2-year mark doing YouTube, I could have easily seen us hanging it up. Part of it is we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get that 100 restaurants because I wanted the tagline.
And we put a lot of weight on.
Yeah, we put a lot of weight on. The trips became work.
Yep.
And that's been the big thing for us is we don't want YouTube to feel like work because we still work.
Yeah.
You know, that's what real jobs are for. This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, that was probably our hardest time. And then, like I said, there was some struggle last year, I think, between the Athens trip and the Rome video coming out. But at that point, we started to like mentally change and be like, you know what, we're gonna do this anyway because this is what we want to do.
Because it's what we want.
And that's the key. Find something that you want to do.
And do it.
And you'll be fine.
Yep.
Because you know what? Whether people watch or they don't watch, you're gonna enjoy it, and it's stuff that you would have done anyway. That's how we view our videos now. All right, final section. And I think that this probably is because like I was very proud when I asked for questions, and I shared that like our channel like doubled in the last year. Like our last 365 has been amazing, and so thank you for everybody submitting these questions, by the way. And I should make sure to say a big thank you to all of our gluttons, which is our membership.
Yeah. There have been people that have been with us for the full 4 years.
Nope. 3 years.
Well, I don't remember.
We just started at 3 years.
I say we started the membership 3 years ago, but there have been people who have watched our very first videos.
That's true.
And that was painful for me to go back and watch. So
yes. I don't want to watch those videos.
If you watch the Macaron Showdown, kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you to anybody that's been watching that long. But as also the gluttons who have been around, we have some that have been here for 3 years with us.
Yeah.
They get their videos early, they get a little shout out at the end. And I think the biggest thing that we offer is a private Discord for only our channel members where we talk to them about pretty much everything. They have
I think it's
daily
life
access.
in general.
Yeah, they have daily access to us about like how our trips are going, what our meals are planned, what our next trips are.
Yeah.
And so if you'd like to join, there's a button down below.
In addition to that, we want to say thank you as well to those who are just joining us. It's amazing that you're just finding us, and we love that. We wouldn't be doing that. We wouldn't be doing this channel without the support from all of our viewers, whether it be the people who've been here for all 4 years or those who just found us today. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. All right, first question. Pursuing Joy says, what made you begin in the first place?
We were bored.
Yeah. So we had been dating for less than a year.
Yep.
And COVID started 6 months prior. We discovered YouTube travel vlogs, which neither of us had ever watched before.
Never.
And we had done just a handful of trips. Like we had been to Las Vegas twice together. We went to New York City. We did Minneapolis and Estes Park. So we did that in about 8 months, and we were like, we watched a few videos, including Say Hi to Matthew, Bill and Lisa, and All You Can Vegas.
And I will say, I think it was our first trip to Vegas together. I actually pointed out, say hi to Matthew, and we got to say hi to him.
Unfortunately, we've never seen him again since then.
Yeah, we haven't ran into him since, but we were able to say hi to him. We actually said hi to Matthew.
Yeah. So, like, we had just discovered them. It seemed like a cool thing to do. It was COVID.
And we really looked back on our first trip to New York City together. When we looked back at our pictures, they were mostly of food and experiences that we experienced together. So it was almost perfect.
And also at this point in time, now that like we know how to put together videos, like we love watching our trip videos because it's our vacation videos. Our vacation. And I wish that we had it for our New York trip. I
do too, because that was an amazing trip.
But you know, you start when you start, and I'm glad we did start.
Yep. So the next question comes from SB27 in Glen Fair. I'm also curious how you can afford doing this.
All right, there's a lot of questions that go towards this, actually. Greg Z, Money Man, Julie Buchanan, everybody's basically asking how we can afford it. And YouTube money. We'll go into some more questions about YouTube money. But how we can afford it is because we don't splurge outside of our travels.
Yeah, we live pretty simply at home. We have one car payment, and we have a house that if we were single, either one of us could afford, so we don't go extravagant that way. And in reality, we rarely eat out at home.
Yep. Yeah, so we live very simply, even though we have a new trip every month.
Yeah.
But
that's where we tend to focus our money at.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there's small things we do to try to save money. We do meal planning. We plan very far in advance, so we're not spending huge money on our flights. We book that stuff as far out in advance as we can and try to get the best deals. And I'm usually the one watching flights, for example, on Southwest. I'm constantly looking and seeing if you get a better flight and getting those deals back on that. So there is a lot of planning to it. But again, we don't live outside of our means, and we make a really good income for our jobs.
We make good money. I mean, I'm not going to pretend we don't.
Yeah.
We've both been in our careers for a long time. We're in our mid-40s, and I know I got my college degree at 22, so I've been working the same thing the whole time. So we make decent money, but I will say, so there were questions about whether YouTube pays for our trips. The answer is no. We have not had a single tax year where we made more money off of YouTube than what we spent into it.
And in addition, I think that helps prioritize that we know we're still spending within our means. Prime example is this weekend we were supposed to be in Chicago, and it wasn't necessarily financial means, it was more of the pieces of our personal lives going forward with a marathon planning and me being out of town for many weeks. It just wasn't going to work. So we actually saved money by not going.
Right.
But those are the pieces you have to prioritize. Where do your priorities lie? We don't have children at home. We have 2 dogs that we have to feed. So our priorities are easy for us.
I've said to Rachel before that we're basically doing our retirement travel now.
Yep.
Because we've seen too many people not be able to when they retire. And we actually get a lot of comments from people who appreciate being able to watch our videos because they no longer can travel to these places.
Yeah.
And so we don't want to have that happen. We both worked in healthcare. We know that any day could be your last.
Yeah.
And so why not make it
worth it now?
Yeah, make it worth it now. So back to Julie Buchanan's question. For those of us who are not on YouTube, talk about how your channel affects your day job as nurses. I don't think it really does. I mean,
I don't think it does either. I mean, people at my job know I have a YouTube channel, but it's separate lives. And not in a bad way, it's just I don't talk about it at work because it's not work related.
And then Julie goes, for instance, does it bring in enough income to pay the cruises, travel you do? No, it doesn't. And we do our best to basically not touch the YouTube money. That's where Rachel was saying we try to live within our means. We try to not increase what we're doing on trips because of YouTube.
Yeah.
Instead, we do what we're going to do, and then hopefully YouTube money will help us retire early someday. Are you tempted to quit your day job and do travel videos full time? Absolutely not.
Oh, I would say I am tempted, but it's not going to happen.
Well,
I mean, who isn't tempted to quit their day job and travel full time? Heck yeah, I am.
We would love to, but the money's not
realistic.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would probably have to be, I don't know, at least 100,000 subscribers and 2 videos a week, pulling in 50 to 100,000 views, but we're not there.
Yeah.
So we're not close. Is it enjoyable enough to do the videos and the income is not a big deal? Yes.
Yes. That's why we do it.
Yep.
It's because we enjoy it.
Yep. And that's why we don't touch the YouTube money. We act like it's not even a thing.
Yep. Sheila Quinn asks, what's your favorite episode you've recorded?
I think my favorite episode is Rome.
Wow.
Because it was the first European city I'd ever seen, and it was moment. Being able to go back 15 plus years later and actually having a 40-year-old's income versus a 20-some-year-old's income.
That changes things
was
too.
Huge. Mm-hmm. And it lived up to the memory I had in my head, and I think that was the biggest key for me. And now I have a 45-minute video that I could watch anytime to relive those moments.
I think Josh is probably going to be surprised at this answer because we had talked about some of these questions before, and I've been thinking about a lot today on this. It's my favorite episode we recorded. I would have to go back to our helicopter ride in Vegas. And I say that because I'm pretty sure I said it in the video, and I still think it to this day. I don't care if anybody else watches it. I get to watch that. And that was one hell of an experience. And oddly enough, people do watch that video.
Yeah.
Still watch that video. And I'm like, oh, we need to redo that because it was so much fun. I think that was one of those key moments in our channel history that I'm like, this isn't just about, at that time, it's not just about food. It's not just about the hotel. It's not just about slot play. This is doing what we want to do. It's the adventure part that we really wanted to do. And I think that's probably the key moment of the channel that I would say is probably my favorite episode we've recorded.
I think that's a good point. Like that was when we started, I want to say it was our first experience that we called it. And so like that was, it was huge.
It was huge.
And it actually, it was one of our largest videos for a very long time.
For a long time. Until Rome.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which vlog, from Amy Schaffner, which vlog has been the most meaningful to you? Different from favorite.
Yeah, to me, the most meaningful was Athens. We had hell, and most people would have sat in the room and been very upset. And we had struggles getting there. We had struggles with lost luggage.
We couldn't sleep.
We couldn't sleep.
We had heart palpitations.
Yeah, we had too much caffeine in our tiramisu. Everything about that should have been awful, and it was so much fun. And I look back on it now, and I look back on one of the outfits I bought, and I was like, who let me buy that outfit? Because I look like a gondolier in Venice. I couldn't even wear the outfit in Venice a few days later. But I still wear some of those outfits that we bought because we lost our luggage. It was my first time to Europe, and it blew me away. It really blew me away.
I had to buy jean shorts, which I hadn't bought.
Jorts.
Yeah, I had to buy jorts, which I had not bought in at least 20 years.
Yeah, because they're not, you shouldn't.
No.
Normal 40-year-olds should not wear
And I've never wore them again, but
Yeah.
at H&M, the only shorts that they had were jorts.
Yep.
And so I had to wear them for 2 days because we had nothing else.
Yeah, and it to me, we could have made it could have been so bad, but that's where we decided we're not letting this ruin our vacation. We were ready to go buy more. We were ready to go buy a suitcase.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and I don't even think there was a moment in the video, I'd have to go back and rewatch it for the 40th or 50th time, that you could really see our frustration. And there were moments that it was, when we got even to the airport to pick up my luggage, and they're like, his isn't here, and I'm like, we're on the same damn flight. Like, how is it not here?
I think what was so important about that one is, like, I think it helped us understand that you don't have to make every video on YouTube about drama.
Right.
Because I know a lot of channels that we watch that would have, like, everybody hands on their face, tears rolling down. I can't believe it. But this is where, like, you got to realize it's not our jobs. This is our vacation, and like we're gonna have as good of a time as we can, and we want it to be that way.
Been planning that trip for a very long time. I don't think the only tears on that trip were tears of joy. Like, I cried when I saw the Acropolis, and that whole entire trip was just amazing. So any of those pieces that you saw, if there were any showing of emotion, it was truly of tears of happiness. It was that cool.
I'm gonna say my most meaningful because I didn't get to answer that.
I know you. I had a Josh answer on that.
Yeah, you had a Josh answer. So I'm gonna go with a Rachael answer because this is totally a Rachael pick, and I actually thought you were gonna pick it because I would say the most meaningful was Ensenada, which was our cruise one, where we did a beer crawl and had tacos afterwards, and we just got drunk on a bus. Like, they just bussed us around to a bunch of breweries. We kept drinking beer and, like, riding in a van where it was way too loud.
That was a jamming out. We were rocking.
I'm pretty sure Guns N' Roses makes it in that one. But that was our second cruise as a channel.
Yeah.
And I think that was the time where we said, you know what? We can do cruise videos, too.
Yeah, we were even drunk eating ice cream on the balcony or back on the ship.
Yes. So it was a game changer for us because since then we've done at least 10, 12 cruises since then, and it's something that we enjoy. It was one of those moments that said you can keep doing these videos.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Because you love them.
Yeah. I do watch that Ensenada one just as much as I watch.
I know, that's why I thought you were going to say that one, so I was trying to think of a different one.
Yeah.
Laurel Hansen asks, do you anticipate continuing to feature Vegas content? We've talked about this. So we just got back from Vegas less than 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I was asking Rachel the question, do we change our Vegas content? Because we've actually seen more long-term success from our non-Las Vegas stuff.
Yeah, our biggest videos are, 2 of the 3 biggest videos we have, view-wise, aren't Vegas at all.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said earlier, like after 2 weeks, most of those Vegas videos just kind of like peter out. Mm-hmm. But I think that we still will, because
we like Vegas.
We like Vegas. We love the food.
Yeah.
The food, I think, is the ultimate big key.
The food scene is amazing.
I love the hotels. Mm-hmm. So I still want to go back to Vegas, and I think we'll still do it. And I can't think of a way to do a Vegas video that isn't the way that we're currently doing it.
Yeah, because we could do it like we do our other travels, but 48 hours in Vegas offers us 1 video. We just went for a longer trip even than a normal 48 or 72 hours in Vegas, where we would have done 1 video, and we ended up coming home with 9.
I think the big key with that is it allows us to be consistent. Mm-hmm. You know, we can still do weekly videos if we're doing Vegas the way that we are currently doing it. Whereas if we did I don't feel like we can do a 72 hours in Vegas video and then 3 months later do another 72 hours in Vegas and then a 48 hours in Vegas. We don't want to do that kind of videos. And also, we want to eat at these restaurants, so we want to be able to show them.
I was going to say, in addition to that, whether you believe it or not, we're kind of boring outside of eating at restaurants. We like to sit at the slot machine. We might go to the pool, but we're not crazy club goers. We're not doing skydiving every single time we go to Vegas, even though we have a cool video on that too. But we're not doing that. It would be very repetitive and very, in my mind, very boring. So I think we keep to our restaurant reviews in Vegas, restaurant hotel reviews. You'll see some different stuff from us coming up. We have some ideas coming, but I also think it's fun to be able to try some of those newer restaurants and ones we've had on our list for quite some time.
Which is where we look at, like, we're viewers too. We watch a lot of YouTube, and so we want to make videos that we want to watch, and hopefully you guys do too.
Yep. Anthony Smith asks, when y'all and Bill and Lisa going to do a collab? It would be so awesome.
Amen, Anthony.
Man.
4 years.
If Bill and Lisa are watching, we would love to have a collab with you guys.
Yeah, we would love to.
Yeah.
It's just never worked out. We are weekend travelers. They are weekday travelers. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it honestly tends to be missing each other by a day or so.
Yeah.
Even in other cities, we've noticed, like, oh, we were just there, or oh, we're headed there, type thing.
Laurel Hansen asked the question, where do you see your social media venture going next? And this actually leads into a question from Bill and Lisa. Thank you so much, Bill and Lisa.
Thank you, guys.
We've still never met you. We would love to. I feel like we know you for years.
Yeah.
And their question goes very similar to Laurel's. First and foremost, congratulations on 4 years. We know the grind. It's not easy. Question, how do you envision the direction of your channel in 5 years and beyond? We often think about it ourselves. This is where I think we look at it like YouTube is not our jobs.
No.
So we are continuing to do YouTube through the vacations that we want to take, doing the activities we want to do, and we just hope that you want to watch it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is we will keep doing it as long as it's still fun and you guys are still watching. So I think that's the big key.
As far as like giant stuff, I mean, I want all continents, and I want them tomorrow.
He does.
You know?
And I want all 50 states, and I have 5 years left to get them.
Yeah.
Like, I have a goal in mind of when I want those 50 states done by.
We are going to go to South America for the first time next year.
Yep.
I keep telling her I want an African safari.
Yeah. Australia's on the list.
Yeah, so we want to go big.
Yeah.
I would anticipate in the future, we've talked about it earlier, quarterly Vegas trips, those will still be there.
Yep.
It's too easy for us to get there, and we enjoy it too much to stop. But then, knocking out the 50 states.
I gotta get to London and Paris.
There's just so many places. We want to go everywhere, and we want to bring you along with us.
I think the biggest thing, and if we haven't expressed it enough, we apologize, but we want to express it as much, is we do this because you guys watch. we enjoy it. We are so thankful that we get to put out a video. We would probably still record and put up a video for ourselves, but having you guys come along with us, we have made some of the best friendships. Blown away. So thank you.
Yes. So we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Aw. On that note.
Wait, no. I have one final question, and I didn't prepare Josh for this. What has surprised you the most in the last 4 years?
So I've said this to some friends about like why we do it, and she's getting all emotional. I think the best thing about this channel is this. Yeah, because like I said, I'm in my 40s. We're in our 40s. We're not having kids together, but what it does is it gives us something to work on together and to continue to build.
Yeah, and see where we've been able to go. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Because as much as we do, it does sometimes, I think Josh kind of led to it from last fall where it felt a little rushed. There was a lot going on last fall. We were planning a wedding. I had changed roles in my job. Like there was a lot of stuff going on.
We overbooked ourselves.
And we overbooked ourselves. So for that to not feel as like, it was a little hard. And I think that too, besides being able to do it with you, I think one of the biggest things that surprised me is there's people out there who want to watch us.
They want to meet us.
They want to meet us.
Yeah.
And they want to have dinner with us. And we've made so many really cool friends that we would have never ran into. Some as close as 30 miles away and some who live across the world.
Yeah, somebody wrote to us from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Actually, Australia.
And Australia.
Yeah.
And UK. And like, it's just amazing. The world isn't as big as it seems. It's not
It's
as
small.
Wait. No.
Which one is it? As big.
I would say it's not as big. Like, it's a small world, and you end up running into people. You're like, oh, we all have some common interests eventually. And I think to me that's a huge shocker because this has just been huge.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah. But on that note, our beers are running out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to hopefully another 4 years, maybe more.
We'll just aim for 1 more year at a time.
Yeah, we'll see you next year. Bye.